banana nut bread. In my bowl, I've got my flour. You're going to add baking soda, baking powder, and 4 spices. We've got cinnamon, nutmeg, cloves, and allspice. Stir it together to combine. This is a to die for banana nut bread recipe because it's got chocolate chips and walnuts. Very dangerous to have around the house because I can't stop eating it. Hence, I haven't made this since I published the cookbook, A Taste of Guam, which is where you'll find the exact measurements. Start with white Crisco or shortening in the bowl. Add your brown sugar and white granulated sugar. We'll cream this together. Let's break up that brown sugar there. Then we'll add the eggs one at a time. Brown sugars giving me an attitude. Add your buttermilk. Bananas. Now I used 3 large bananas which were ripened on my counter, but then I put it in the freezer, thawed it out, drained some of the liquids, and then smashed them. Or you can just use 3 large bananas that have been sitting on your counter. Kind of incorporate it a little bit so the buttermilk doesn't go flying everywhere. It's on low. Then we'll add our dry ingredients. little bit of beating there. Alright, we've got semi-sweet chocolate chips and chopped walnuts. Fold this in with the spatula. And I've got my oven preheating at 350 degrees. Instead of using 2 bundt pans or your regular sized loaf pans, I have come to really love the mini loaf pans, because when you bake, whether it's this banana nut bread or velvet cake, it doesn't take as long to cook the center of each loaf, and so the crust around my banana nut bread doesn't get too hard. When you bake cakes in bigger pans, it takes a long time for the center to cook. I sprayed these non-stick mini loaf pans with non-stick spray, and then I'm just going to fill it in with batter using a measuring cup and a spoon. So we'll start with a cup, and then we'll move on to 1/3 of a cup. When I made my coconut pound cake recipe using these mini muff pans, it was so luscious. It was so good compared to using a bigger loaf pan, and I had also made them in bundt pans. And the nice thing about the mini loaf pans is you can wrap them and share them, or wrap them and freeze them. And when you want a little bit, you can take out one loaf instead of having to take out the whole big bundt pan or big loaf pan and feel like you have to eat it all, so you don't waste it, you know. And here's 1/3 of a cup of batter. And these are going to bake nicely and rise nicely because you've got baking soda, which reacts with your wet ingredients as soon as you mix it together. Then you've got your baking powder, and it's called double acting baking powder because it reacts twice, when you mix it and then as it bakes. Okay, I'm going to fill the rest of my mini loaf pans, then get all of the pans on a sheet cake or a sheet pan and put them in the oven. You're going to bake it at 350 degrees and check after 45 minutes the center of a couple of loaves. And bake it until the toothpick inserted in the center comes out clean. I've got 7 mini loaf pans filled with 1 1/3 leveled scoops of banana nut bread batter, and the batter is so delicious already. Put it in the oven for about 45 minutes, then check for doneness. Yum, I wish I can dig into these already, but I've got to go back to the gym. So you notice in the beginning, when I put the batter in the pans, I smoothed it out along the sides and the corners, because if you don't, you're going to end up with a lopsided banana nut bread loaf. Okay, so take a moment to spread the batter evenly, especially to the corners, so you can end up with 7 pretty loaves of chocolate chip banana nut bread.